Hello everybody, fellow Guilford residents. My name is Ken McKenzie, and I'm here because I seek to be our next First Selectman. I'd like to begin by thanking all of you who supported me 4 years ago when I ran as an unaffiliate for First Selectman, and to those of you who supported me in my successful run for Board of Finance as a Republican. The same issues that got me involved in the local politics 4 years ago are the same issues that I believe are the most important ones in today's election. We have a primary coming up on September 12th, wherein you get to choose our Republican candidate to run against Democrat Matt Hoey in this fall's November election. I hope to be that person, and I'm here to tell you why. The two issues that I thought were most important 4 years ago were transparency and taxes. Those issues, to me, remain the most critical for this election. I was embroiled in issues in town 6 years ago involving propane. And it was during that 2-year process that I came to realize and believe that our governing process was not nearly transparent enough. And by transparency, I mean the willingness and openness of our government. Too often, I believe, our governmental process does not invite and actively solicit the input from residents who are most likely to be impacted by the decisions that are ultimately made. This leads to contentious debate, lengthy public hearings, and large legal bills, much of which could be alleviated, in my opinion, by including people at an earlier process in the stages. Transparency to me is more than just a buzzword. My opponent this fall I see is now using the word transparency and openness. I would argue that an unwillingness to debate is certainly not transparent. And the debate it goes back to more than just the request from the League of Women and Voters and the Atticus. At our Republican Town Caucus, those that supported my opponent were opposed to letting he and I both speak for only 3 minutes to the people in the room, all Republicans. So the argument that we don't want to speak because we don't want to show our opinions to people is not truly accurate. I don't know why we haven't had open debate, open dialogue. We haven't had it at our RTC meetings, and we haven't had it with the public, both of which sadden me. Going forward, I will continue to push for more transparency. Again, the propane dispute, the Shoreline Greenway Trail, the Stone House, the Tuttle's Point water line extension, all were cases where I believe the town could have done a much better job of actively soliciting input from those most likely to be impacted. I have appeared before the Board of Selectmen and vocally stated that I thought they were lacking in their transparency. Of course, I was met with harsh criticism and words, but I will continue to push for transparency. I have opined on numerous occasions at Board of Finance meetings, again, that we need more transparency in our governing process as it relates to budget decisions, as it relates to town decisions. And I will continue to push for this. Again, it is not a buzzword. It is what I ran on 4 years ago and I run on again today. Taxes. I know it sounds like a broken record, but everybody is impacted by taxes and spending. Our state is a mess. We all recognize that. Our town taxes have gone up. We spend money. We've been spending money at a 3 to 3.5% clip now for 40 years. Our property taxes have gone up by 4.9% per year in the past 8 years. We all learn the value of compound interest at a young age. We have compounding working against us, and it simply is not sustainable. Yes, we have affluent people in town that are able to pay the taxes, a lot of whom, however, are not happy with their tax increases. Waterfront properties have gone down in value in town, primarily because of taxes, but also due to anticipated shoreline rises and insurance costs associated with living on the waterfront. We must try harder to reduce spending. I have been a vocal critic, proponent of reduced spending for the past 2 years during my tenure on the Board of Finance. I asked difficult questions at Board of Ed meetings, at Board of Selectmen meetings, at Board of Finance meetings, all directed toward ways in which we might be able to do things just a little bit differently to try to, with a goal towards saving money and still continuing to deliver the goods and services that our town deserves, needs, and wants. I believe we can continue to do this. We need to push harder. 2 years ago during the budget process, we were able to remove over $1 million in spending lines. Largely fluff. No cuts were made. We just took over $1 million out. There were no cuts. There were no complaints about children not getting education. I've got 2 young boys who go to the public school system here. One's at Cox and one's at Baldwin. So I'm very cognizant of the need, of the impact of education board cuts or potential cuts. Doesn't mean we can't do it though. We have to continue to address issues such as increased admin costs, higher busing costs, decreasing student enrollment. We have to figure out a way to try just a little bit harder. Throwing our hands up and saying there's nothing we can do about it due to contractual obligations is not a satisfactory answer. If we're unwilling to try, if there's nothing we can truly do about it, perhaps it's time to let some people in and give them an opportunity to try to do something about it. I have another video that will be coming out shortly that talks more about me and my family and my background. My background is finance. I have 25 years of relevant financial experience, which I've applied to my position on the Board of Finance, and which I hope to move over to be your first selectman. We have a primary coming up on September 12th. I hope you will all come out and vote. Vote for me, ideally. I believe I can beat Matt Hoey in the fall. There are plenty of people in town, be they independents, Democrats, Republicans, who are all concerned about our ever-increased spending costs. The primary is open to any registered Republican. All of you unaffiliated voters who may be interested in voting in the primary, you may register as a Republican to vote in the primary up until noon, the day prior to the primary. I look forward to seeing everybody at the polls. Obviously, I hope we are victorious come September 12th. Thank you for your time. I look forward to meeting and speaking with all of you.